All right, all right. Welcome everybody. Another edition of Legend Sports Amplify, and we are talking baseball history, minor league history, collecting, card art, whatever your passion is when it comes to baseball. And I'm really happy to have on Corey and Patrick, the Baseball Mappers. How you doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us. Yeah,
All right. Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. This has been something where we were talking before we got on here why I started doing this, and then the more I started doing it, the more really cool people I started meeting, and the more that you just start to dig and you find out that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of really fun, interesting stuff. And some of it goes back a long, long way. Some of it, like we were talking before we got on here, is a little more recent. But I think what you guys are doing with the minor league and the stadium and teams is just fantastic. It's a great resource for people, and we'll get into talking about that. But one of the things I think that everybody enjoys hearing about is how everybody gets into doing what they're doing, because for many people it's not their day job at first. You'd like to make it that way, right? But
Yeah.
the origin story was something that Dr. Brunson called this, and I think it's great because it's like a superhero thing. Everybody's got their own little superpower here when it comes to what they're doing, and the internet gives you that ability, and it's really, really cool. So how did you guys get into doing what you're doing here?
Baseball Mapper origin story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we
So wait, before
it's-
raise your hand. Who's Corey? Who's Patrick? So everybody
yeah,
knows.
I'm Corey.
All right.
I'm Patrick.
All right.
So yeah, we go on a baseball trip every year, right? We're trying to get all the MLB stadiums in. So we take a group of friends, we drive somewhere, we fly somewhere, but we're there for typically 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights, and we want to get something else in. And when we tried to find that minor league game or independent league game, that meant going to about, I don't know, 5, 10 different websites to try to find, what was available in that area. There was nothing that had all the baseball in one spot. So I figured, during COVID, right? Why not make this happen? And make it available for other fans. So
Absolutely.
That's how it started.
It's a great
It's cool
resource,
for
man.
us, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to make it a resource because, like you said, we were doing this we've been doing it for over 10 years. We've been doing these trips, like a lot of people. We find that if there's one group of people we find on social media, whether it's Twitter or whatever, a lot of people are also travelers. They like to go and do what we do. Baseball is unique in that way that it creates a journey to get to get to 30, or a journey to get to however many as you can.
Yeah.
And it actually was a few years ago, about 3 years ago, we were in Houston and we were looking for something else to do, and we came across the Brazos Valley Bombers. They're a part of the Baseball Mapper origin story. And
Nice.
they're a baseball team, a Texas Collegiate League team in Bryan, Texas, so in College Station area.
That's not far
About
from
an
me.
hour and a half away.
That's not far from me.
And,
I'm in Spring. I'm not too far from there. Maybe 30,
Oh,
40
okay,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, I know where that's at. Yeah.
So we had never heard of the Texas Collegiate League before, and that was kind of the whole point. Is that what other teams are in this league, and how many other collegiate summer leagues are there? We've got one by us in the Northwoods League that we get to go to quite a bit, and so it was kind of an eye-opening experience. And then once we started searching, Corey was like, "Hey, I think we could start putting this all together and make it one destination for everybody." And so our goal started off as to be a resource for people like us who wanted to travel and to make life easy on a road trip, on a business trip. How many baseball teams can you find by grandma's house? That's what we wanted to do.
Awesome, man. And think about that, right? You could branch that into all kinds of things, right? Once you guys get this really rolling, I mean, look at it as a resource. Who wouldn't want to be with you guys on your website? You got a possibility with people who are traveling, as far as, what else can they do along the way? Where can they get gas? What can they do? You could be like the Green Book. You know what the Green Book was? Yeah, you could be like the Green Book for minor league baseball,
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. I mean, I think it's awesome. And what's really fun about it, I mean, I lived in Pennsylvania until the late 90s. I moved to Texas in 98. But what was really nice about Scranton, Pennsylvania, it was at the nexus of Route 80, Route 81, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, right? So I could take Route 80 all the way across Pennsylvania into Ohio and go see whoever on that direction. I could go east and I could go to New York City and be there in a little over an hour, and I could see the Mets, the Yankees, whoever. I can go south 45 minutes and go to see the Phillies. I can go north and go see, get up into New England and go to the Red Sox. So it was great, but there's a lot of places in the country that Major League Baseball, you don't have 4, 5, 6 Major League Baseball teams very, very close, but you might have a lot of minor league teams. And that's what makes it a lot of fun. So you guys are up to, so it's baseballmapper.com, but I know you got this one little graphic that I thought was really awesome, and I'd love to know how you put this thing together. This one here that
Probably
has...
not me.
I mean, how cool is this? 65 leagues on the map, 859, I mean, that is so cool. How did you do that?
So that's when we put a team on a map. We're not actually putting a team on a map. I find it a league that has, is easy for me to figure out where they play, what ballpark they play at and all that, a team logo, a team website. So not all like collegiate summer leagues have this available.
Yep.
Sometimes they're a lot smaller operations and they're more fly by night. But when we find a league that we want to add, we add it at the league level. So that's what we did. I'm a data scientist by trade, so
Cool.
Creating statistics like this is sort of what I do. But so yeah, that's just an accounting of how many leagues we got, how many pins we got, how many stadiums we got, and interestingly, the difference between how many teams and how many stadiums we have. I thought I had an error there, right? We had the Tecolotes de los Dos Laredos, right? So it's a Mexican league?
The Mexican League.
Mexican League. They play in Laredo, Texas, as well as in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So on the map, I have them in 2 different locations, and I'm like, oh man, I'm looking at that same graphic you are, and I'm like, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
I've got more stadiums than teams or whatever. There's something going on, and found that team. Wow, that's a fascinating story, So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine in doing all this digging for all those numbers of leagues and teams. Tell me about your hats first, because Dad, I'm sure Ed's going to be watching this at some point. The dad hat. He's going to want to know what he probably has those hats. But what do you got?
Well, I don't know if he has gotten a Beloit Snappers. We actually live. Yeah, we could. He might win one tonight. We're going to be doing a drawing for it.
Cool.
But the Beloit Snappers are a minor league team here, about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. It's a team that has always had a real historically small ballpark when they were the Beloit Brewers, and when they were a smaller affiliate. But over time, as Major League Baseball has kind of put their arms over and kind of controlling what the minor leagues do, all of those leagues, and it's these teams that are even in their league, they've all gotten new ballparks. Well, their field was just this little small rundown, Pullman Field is kind of like a Park District field, and they were going to lose their team. They were about to lose their team. They were on the chopping block. And they wound up being purchased in part by Gary Studer. Is it Gary? Quinn Studer. Quinn Studer. And he owns the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. And he kind of went to the commissioner's office. Was like, "We're going to keep this team. We're gonna make a new ballpark." So they made a whole new ballpark. Long and the short of it, we've been going there for years. Glad to see that they were able to keep their team. And so we've created kind of a nice little rapport with the people who work in that team.
Cool.
And so we've got Snappers gear and have some to give away.
Nice. And what do you got on, Cody?
Oh, same thing. Snappers.
Just a different
Snappers,
version?
they had their last homestand at Pullman Field just in the last week.
Yeah.
So they're away for a couple weeks, and next time they're home, they open the new stadium. So just
Nice.
trying to give them a little shout out.
Yeah.
So the whole idea behind this, and you look at that map I just put up there now. I mean, it blows me away with the pins. I think it's so fun. Just to look at it is fun. And zoom in. I'll go to the website before we get off of here, so people can see the URL and take a look at it too. But I just had fun zooming in and out and clicking on things. I just thought it was a lot of fun. What's your favorite stories out of all these? Because you've had to step on so many different teams, and the more you start digging, then you find more, and pretty soon you're yeah. So what's some of your favorites that you got?
Well, he brings up a really cool one with Tecolotes de los Dos Laredos, because we actually watched the documentary Bad Hombres that was about that team, so we could learn more about how they were placed. We discover them on the map, find out there's a documentary, and that kind of kickstarted our Baseball Mapper Boys movie reviews that we do. So we make little silly Facebook videos and
Cool.
and talk about baseball movies that people should probably check out. That was one of the first ones, so that was a cool story because it was we thought it was a discrepancy on the map,
Right.
unbeknownst to us.
Yeah. But,
Cool.
just recently, we, for our annual baseball trip, got canceled last year because of COVID. Obviously, right? So this year, we're trying to figure out what to do come springtime. And, we're our biggest users, right, of the map. So we're trying to figure out where to go. And, it's vaccinations are coming on, but we didn't qualify quite yet, so we weren't sure what was going to be going on, if we'd be able to get into an MLB stadium or not.
Yeah.
So, we're like, all right, what played through COVID was a lot of collegiate summer league teams and a lot of independent league teams. So why don't we do something and go somewhere we would never typically go? And so we picked Montana, where some other people, Paul Caputo, among others, were going.
Tell us about that little odyssey, right? Because you were there with Paul and several other people you met along the way as well, right? How many different cities did you go to, and how many different teams did you get to see?
We got invited. So originally, part of how it happens is we got invited by one of our Twitter followers. His name is Glenn, and he invited us to come out because he was doing a trip to Montana to see Glacier National Park. He was also going to be up in Washington State.
Cool.
I think he also befriended Eric the Peanut Guy, who works for the Tri-City Dust Devils up there. And he had invited like 5 people that he considered to be positive influences in social media in regards to baseball. And he invited us, and I'm thinking, how do we fit with Paul, and how do we fit with Eric? I was like, that's super cool. Benjamin Hill, Ben's Biz, who writes for minor league baseball, and we're like, how are we? That'd be so cool, but how are we ever going to end up in Montana? And then suddenly people started committing, and we're like, damn, if we don't have to start planning for Montana. So we were looking into tickets to fly into Missoula to see the Paddleheads. There was going to be the kind of the group was going to get together there. And there's a couple of teams in Montana. Again, we wouldn't typically know, but because we have the map, there's an Expedition League, is one of the growing collegiate summer leagues out there that way out west, and they have a team in Butte. And there's also Great Falls has a team. Billings has a team. So we're trying to decide what teams we're going to see, and we wound up catching 2 games while we were out there.
Yeah, we saw the Mining City Tommyknockers.
Oh, wow.
So I think they were supposed to start last year, right? But they didn't.
They might have just been
Tommyknockers
this year. Yeah.
Tommyknockers. What's their logo?
Tommyknockers.
What the heck is their logo?
It's a Tommyknocker is the best way to describe it.
With a pickaxe. Right?
No kidding.
Yeah. So
Oh
they
God.
have a pretty new stadium, fairly small, but it fits Butte just right. And they did a July 3rd fireworks show. It was
Cool.
incredible there.
How'd you get there? Did you guys fly? Did you drive? How'd you
Yeah.
get there? Yeah.
Yeah, we flew into Missoula, and then Butte is about a 2-hour drive from there.
Very, very fun. When Paul was on here, and it's something that I mean, I realized a little bit because of working in minor league baseball. Not so much the Red Barons. When I worked for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons, really, I don't know why they picked Red Barons. Honestly, I mean, there's no real tie to the. I mean, they had an airplane for a logo, and it had really nothing to do with Scranton Wilkes-Barre at all. I mean, not much anyway. And well, one of the things with Paul and his book, though, is those ties to the local community that minor league teams have. And you can learn so much about what that area is like just by looking at or knowing the team's name or looking at the logo. It's telling you a lot of history, maybe in a little more subtle way, or you may not know it at first what that means. Like he was explaining some of the yard goats and some of those that are that you may not know. Hey, it's a cool logo with a goat, chewing on a bat, but really a yard goat is more than that. It has to do with the rail lines and all these other kinds of things. And so it was really, really interesting that that type of connection that these minor league teams have with the community around them, and that's really, really important, I think. And so when Major League Baseball this past year contracted a number of minor league teams, what was your guys' thoughts on that? Because I mean, it doesn't seem like a very smart move.
Yeah, no, not awesome, right? But I think to your last point about these team names that have to do with the cities, we saw that in real time when the Appalachian League, they were minor league affiliated, if I'm not mistaken, right? And they lost affiliation, right? And they all 10 rebranded into something different.
Were they named after a parent club? Were they named after?
Named after parent
yeah,
clubs,
no,
and
get
then
rid of
all a
that
sudden
stuff.
They went through and kind of created something that was more unique to their.
Man, that's a great
their
point.
community.
That's a great point because
so in real time, in real time before the season started, we got to see one by one these teams announce their branding, their name, their logo, the reason behind it, and all that. It was the coolest thing as you're getting all excited for the baseball season to ramp up.
I think it's great. That ought to be a rule. They should never name any minor league team after the parent team. It should be its own deal, and that's that. I mean, you know who they're affiliated with. You don't need to name them because the Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Red Barons, they became the Yankees when they moved to.
Right.
But now they're the
And
Rail
the same thing with
Riders.
Staten Island.
Now they're the Rail Riders. Yeah. So I think it's great that they're doing that. The other thing that I think is really, really fun about minor league baseball that just blows me away, and I didn't know as much about this, but Paul and Ed, several other people have set me on the right path here. I'm not too far from San Antonio, and I got a buddy of mine out there hunting for a Chanclas hat for me because I got to have one. My wife is formerly from Guadalajara. So she knows and I have 3 boys, and they know what that flying chancla means. If you're a Mexican mom or a grandma, you know what that chancla stands for, right? So I just thought it was brilliant. And so these teams that were doing the different Copa logos, and then the food logos. What's some of your favorites from that type of? Because it's more than just the one team. Now they've got several brands they could roll out there, and that's really cool.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's funny because we're just writing, we're kind of collaborating. Sometimes we collaborate on blog posts and stuff like that. One of them was all of these. There's a rash. One of the things we've noticed in minor league baseball team names over the last decade or so is that there has been a major withdrawal from the vicious predators like the sharks, the cougars, the tigers, and all those things, and more of the cute, cuddly, almost ridiculous vermin, fuzzy little pet type animals, right? And so the food thing is another one of those things that are the idea of getting away from ferocious, predatory, vicious animal and more towards funny, goofy, wacky, and that's what people want. Not just one, they want the what if hats, they want the food hats, they want the Copa hats.
It's brilliant.
And that's really kind of what they want. I mean, there's a lot of really cool ones that are food related. I really like. I think about the team, actually a team that got kind of let go in Clinton. The Lumber Kings wound up moving on with the Burlington Bees into the Prospect League. But they were minor league affiliated forever, and their Copa hat was the elotes, the Mexican street corn. And I just, I'm a Sox fan out here in the Chicagoland area, so that's something I get when I go to the ballpark. So I love all that stuff. They've made some really cool ones with, I thought about, speaking of Staten Island, there was the cannolis.
Cannolis.
Nothing says New York, Staten Island, New Yorker like a cannoli.
No.
There's just so many, man. There are so many. It's hard to pick just one or two.
Did you know? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The total unintended consequence of the map itself is, I've got around 900 teams that I had to get logos for, right? So I went through and had to find all these logos, and so now people are going on there and looking at logos and buying hats, right? And so the hat collector is a big user of the map just to find cool logos.
Like Ed is an example of that.
Yeah.
He's somebody who goes on there. But, we have Instagram followers, too. People who go on there and their whole profile is just to showcase their hat collection. And they're finding teams they've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
Just because the logo's awesome. So that is a really cool unintended consequence.
I think so, too. And did you guys know that the Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Rail Riders, were the pierogies? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that. Yeah. I mean, that's a cool.
Now my niece. Now I can't even believe this because I grew up wanting to go home every single holiday because my mom used to always make homemade pierogies all the time for the holidays. And my sister is still there in Northeast PA. My nieces work at the stadium every single summer. I told my sister, I said, wait a minute, you had no idea? You live right there that they were called the pierogies? How could you not know that? So she's up there hunting, trying to find me a pierogies hat or something, a T-shirt, something. I got to have something. I mean, I think it's from a few years ago, but it's got to be floating around. They got to be floating around somewhere. And there's the tacos, and there's the kimchi, and there's all kinds of crazy ones. I mean,
kimchi,
that's kimchi. A good one, right. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, I don't know, I mean, it's limitless, really. But, it's interesting. All those foods have a tie to the community, too. I mean, it's not, I mean, in Northeast PA, there are a lot of Eastern Europeans who were there because of the coal mines, and so everybody knows what a pierogi is. You go to any church festival in the summertime, especially Catholic churches, homemade pierogies, that's what you go for. I mean, Chicago probably has a lot of that as well. Then I know the tacos, right? Is it the Fresno? Is it the Fresno tacos?
The Fresno, yeah. The Grizzlies are also, they're the tacos. They have a couple of different versions of that one, I think.
Paul told me that they're like the food truck capital of the world or something. And so there's more, it's more than just taco. It's telling you more about them than just that. So I just think it's really, really, I just think it's fun. I mean, that's what I think the minor leagues are. Besides being affordable, the things that they do are fun, and there's a little bit going on in Major League Baseball right now that's made it not as fun. I mean, I'm a Phillies fan, so you guys White Sox fans? Is that?
I am a Sox fan, so this is a
you having a good year this year, yeah.
Yeah, this is a prime time to be a Sox fan. Not so much as a Cubs fan. That
kind
of sucks.
Wow.
I don't know.
We're a couple years off being World Champions.
I don't remember
that. Not a bad time to be a Cubs fan.
I don't remember that time.
So you guys, wait a minute. So you guys talked about your origin and how you started doing this. How do you guys know each other? How long you guys been friends? How long you been doing this?
Man, we've known each other for a long time.
Cool.
We met actually in high school. We worked at a local pizza place around us called Rosati's. You're about to be a senior, yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
I was going to junior year. He was going to be a senior, and I just moved into the apartments right there by the pizza place. We worked together every night, and we became friends for years. And as I went away to the military, he was in Northern Illinois, in DeKalb, getting his multiple degrees there as a numbers wizard. I think that's the official degree type.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we've stayed friends for forever, and we've traveled together. We've done all kinds of cool stuff over the years, and this opportunity of us to kind of create something together was something that I think we always wanted to do, but didn't know how to do.
Yeah.
I've had that VA loan that I've always been like, hey man, we can start a business together. And this isn't quite necessarily that, but it is a fun collaboration that we've been able to kind of do together, and every week getting together and record videos, and starting to work with clients and things like that. Baseball is really kind of a cool thing that we've been able to continue from our friendship on to this.
Awesome. That is really, really cool. You guys have known each other a long time. Something about baseball too, though, that I have friends of mine that I grew up with. I have friends of mine I played Little League with. Some of them I haven't seen in 20, 30 years. But if I go back to visit, it's like, hey, how you doing? You go have a beer. It's like you never left. I mean, it's just something about, baseball, and if you played it together and you grew up watching it, or you're fans, or you went to whatever it was, something about baseball that just makes lasting long time stuff. I mean, I've been into writing about it. A lot of the history, statistics, things like that, simulation games. I played Stratomatic as a kid. I'm still friends. I still keep in touch. That's how I keep in touch with a lot of guys, that some of them for 25, 30, 35 years that we've been doing this, that we still, it gives you an excuse to always, send an email, get online, do whatever you're doing, make a phone call. I think it's just great, and it always gives you something to talk about. So a couple weeks back, didn't I send you, my brother lives in Virginia Beach. He was driving down to eastern part of North Carolina, Outer Banks, and he crosses this bridge, and it's the Catfish Hunter Memorial Bridge. He's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Gets into the town, and there's a little Catfish Hunter museum, which is just like kind of stuck next to like the hardware store kind of thing. But then he drives down the road, and there's a baseball game going on at a stadium. So he pulls over, and he's like, what is this, right? It was maybe 1,000, 1,500 people there. But it was the Edenton Steamers. And he's like, I didn't know, who are these guys? So it turns out there's a whole league down there that, there's 6, 8 teams. I think I sent you, I don't know if you stuck the pin in there yet, but Edenton, he goes down there once a week now, because he goes down on business, but he goes sees an Edenton game every time that they're down there now. And it's a blast. I mean, so those little teams and leagues are everywhere.
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 And some of them, we were just talking about that actually last week. I think it was last week in a video, or 2 weeks ago, or offline. It all blends together when we're sitting here drinking and making video. This is our video recording time.
That's all right.
So we were talking about, should we, after planning a trip to Missoula, and we also went to Kansas City this summer too, which was a great trip too. But have we been limiting ourselves by saying we've got to do the 30, got to go to 30 major league cities? And there is something to be said about these smaller towns that are playing. Like Edenton's got to be a relatively small city. Mm-hmm. But Missoula, it's a good sized city. There's a lot to do. You could drive around quite a bit. But it's definitely smaller than most, if not all major league cities. Mm-hmm. Have we been limiting ourselves to only wanting to go to do those versus going to these smaller minor league or college cities? And we both feel like it was such a great experience that the atmosphere in the ballpark could be something special. You could, a couple thousand people in a small city like that could be more excitement than you would get in a major league ballpark, like in, let's say, Miami, for example, or something.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I think the atmosphere, one thing that really annoys me about going to and I haven't been to a game obviously in almost 2 years now with everything that's been going on, but used to go down to see the Astros quite a bit. When I first moved here, I had to go to the Astrodome because that was going to be, someplace that was always on my bucket list anyway, and then I moved here, and so it was great. But one thing that always annoys me about games is people get there and half the time they're not even paying attention. They're on their phones, they're doing whatever, they're walking around. But then by the sixth inning, they're already looking like, okay, what time we got to get out of here? And it's like, wait a minute. No, I don't care if the game never ends. I mean, it could go until tomorrow. I mean, that's what's fun about it. And that's, I think, makes the minor league game better as well, that same way. People aren't in such a rush. I mean, probably because there's not as much traffic, I guess, but they're not in such a rush to get out of there. And so it's just a different vibe going on at a minor league park than a major league stadium, for sure. I'm going to put up your website here. See if I can do this. Let's see. I'm trying.
And let us know if there's anything that needs to be changed or added to it. One of the things we always try to put on there is a contact us page on the website too.
Okay.
One of the things that Corey thought of is that, when we're on, social media, sometimes people will notice, especially if it's a team that they care about in their town or a team that they've gone to, if we don't have it, they'll post and be like, cool map, but you forgot Edenton. We're like, okay, right. We'll add it, no problem.
Yep.
So we have included a spot like that on there, so you can contact us if there's something that you notice or a league that you want us to add. I mean, lately we've been getting actually hit up about international. I don't know if Corey's ready for all that.
Really? That's neat.
Yeah. There's baseball all over the world, so we have some Mexican league teams.
Yeah, we've got North America, but people
Yeah.
I put my hats away just the other day, but I went to. So I told you my wife is from Guadalajara, and they used to be the Jalisco Charros, and now they're
on there.
Yeah, now they changed their name though this year. They're the the Mariachis now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've rebranded.
Let's make sure we got it right.
Yeah, they've rebranded now. They're the Mariachis now. And then I went to a couple years ago. We went on vacation to the Dominican, and I had to go see a game because that was going to be like, how could you not go to the Dominican Republic and not see? And so I had to get a couple hats. So I got the Romana Toros and the Aguilas Cibaeñas, and one more. I can't remember what other one I got. Santo Domingo something. I can't remember what they were called. But anyway, so many baseball teams out there. I wanted to ask you one thing. I'm going to go to the map because this is, like I said, I play around on here all the time. You can look at this. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. You can do all kinds of cool things. But do you guys? This is active teams. What's going? What is all this that's on here?
Yeah, that's the intention. Is that they're all active teams. With 65 leagues or whatever, it's definitely a lot to maintain. So
yeah, absolutely.
There's a possibility that there's a team or a league there that's defunct or whatever. But
I just recently, one of the things, again, this is a real time thing. We come across this, and it's funny. We work through Google Chat to communicate with each other when we're not together in the office. We communicate through Google Chat to make these kind of changes, or we've heard from social media from people who work with teams or whatever. I think I was just looking at the Western Canadian Baseball League, and I want to say, because of the issues in Canada with getting able to play, I do think like the Intercounty Baseball League, the one that's over in Ontario, they were able to get the whole league going, but the Western Canadian, I don't think did. And I want to say maybe 6 or 8. And it's one of those things that we have them all active, the teams who are in the league. But like this year, again, it's kind of a crazy year where some of those teams might not be playing. I know in the West Coast League, those Canadian teams did not play this year. They had to bow out. So because of travel issues. So in some cases, we've kept them up there. But the goal is, if you could go and buy a ticket, there's a link to the website for the team there. You could go buy a ticket. You could go to a game. You could go find their merchandise. You could do all that stuff.
I mean, guys, this is like freaking brilliant. I mean, I tell you what. I mean, you can click on any of these pins, bring up the logo, the league, the stadium, the address, go to the website. I mean, this is like This is brilliant. This is good stuff. I mean, it
Okay,
really.
so take that a step further. This year, if you take a look, see that one pin that's right there, just south of the border there, where you were zoomed in Canada. If you look in South Dakota, there is the Spearfish Sasquatch. They're in the Expedition League. You'll start to notice pins that are customized.
Uh-huh.
And that's something we've done this year, is that we've actually started to partner with teams.
Beautiful.
And this allows teams to kind of showcase them
Awesome.
and the things that are important to them in this space. So for all the baseball fans, all the people who are traveling, people who are collecting hats, whatever you're on this site for, you can go there now and you can click an easy tab and you click that button and you go right to their merchandise.
So
and
that
you
would
get yourself a Sasquatch hat.
That was going to be my question. So I imagine that that's the deal with the Capital City Reds and the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. I was going to ask you that next. How come some of these are? Well, you answered my question. That is great. I hope you get all 959 of them, or however many there are. I hope you get them all, man.
That would suddenly turn this into more of a full-time position. That's for sure.
I think I mean, this is like brilliant. Why would they not? I mean,
You know what? It's funny because when we're talking to people on the phone or in person when we go to these games, that is what they say. If you talk to the GM of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, that's how he feels. He actually sent an email to the other GMs in the league, like in the Perfect Game Collegiate League, like, hey, we need to all be doing this.
Absolutely.
And it just gives a lot of good attention. So
I've got
we have a lot of people who go on the website, every single month, who are going around just like what you're doing, just picking an area.
I do this a lot.
There and just zooming in, clicking, opening up, and now you're on their website. Now you can see what their tickets cost. You can see their stadium map.
Yep.
You can buy a hat.
It's awesome.
Why not, right? Why wouldn't you want to?
I got a buddy of mine who works for the Cape Cod League. Mm-hmm. I'll send you his information. I'll send him your way and see what you could do with the Cape. Right. What do you got going on with the Cape Cod League over here?
Nothing yet. The furthest east we have is New York and just north of the border in Ottawa.
Right.
But
I mean, this is brilliant.
Prime real estate.
This is brilliant. Yeah, I hope you get all 900 and some odd teams. I mean, I think that would be it would all be worth it.
Think of it from a fan perspective. Like, click on the Tarp Skunks real quick. If you are heading to Jamestown and you're like, you know what, I'm going to head into that area. You got a work trip or something like that.
The Tarp Skunks Hotel.
So the team hotel, their sponsored hotel.
Yeah.
You can, as a fan, before you.
Oh my God! Every team should do this.
Think about getting in the car.
Yep.
You can click to buy Skunks tickets. You can get yourself a hat.
Yep. You
can then click the hotel and book the hotel at the skunk rate.
Yep.
For $20 off or whatever it is.
Beautiful.
And that's their sponsor. So, we started to realize, and that was something that Corey and I talked about early on. And Corey's had this vision for a long time of this being something where we might be able to find value in partners. Like,
absolutely.
Not even just teams, but like the people who work with the teams.
Yes.
It's a website, and it draws baseball fans. Yep. So why not?
Yeah, and you're making it a one-stop shop here. I mean, if you're in the area and you want to go see a game somewhere, you've got your one stop for tickets, for merchandise, for places to stay, for everything that anybody would possibly need. What's really fun about this, when you zoom around, is like I just was over here in the in your Chicago area. I got lost here now. Let me zoom back out. It's fun to see the clusters. Like, look at this little cluster that you got going on here in the Chicago area. How many teams you got here? There's like 20 teams here. I mean, that is great. I mean, if anybody's there, I mean, you've got your choice within an hour, I'm guessing, or less, to go see a whole heck of a lot of baseball. That's fun stuff. All right, I'm going to put you... What else you got on this website? You want anything else you want people to see on here? Uh-oh, did I
Yeah,
lose you?
definitely. We're really blessed where we are.
Absolutely.
Really blessed to have so much baseball in this area, you know.
Let me,
But you know, back where you're from on the East Coast, I think is probably the prime spot. You know, they've got a ton of baseball out east.
oh yeah, I mean, everything, like I said, not only the major league teams that are within an hour drive, but you've got a lot of minor league and collegiate summer league teams
Mhm.
that have been around. I didn't even notice that what do you got on there for Scranton? Because there used to be, I don't know if they're still playing it, Williamsport. There's the Red Baron, the Rail Riders, but there used to be a collegiate summer league up there that, that the Scranton Red Sox used to play in. Um, that they played several teams that were in the New York. Yeah, there's definitely. I'm gonna have to see if I can point some of these guys your way, because there's a bunch of teams that were playing in this Hazleton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and then heading into like eastern um, New Jersey, upstate New York, that were playing in a collegiate league, and I'm pretty sure they still are.
Yeah, we got the Scranton Rail Riders on there, but
Yep. Yeah, this is
um,
great, and this is fun to have these partnered little pins. I want to see them all. I mean, one day I hope you get them all. That would be very, very fun.
uh,
I'm
thanks so
gonna.
much.
Yeah, and you think about it too. It's like, baseball. Just in the last couple of years, think about last year when nobody could go to a game.
Hmm.
The streaming service for MLB was I forgot what the numbers were, but it was like I don't know 200 times what it had been the year before.
Yep.
So more and more people are buying into streaming services to the point where it's not even just MLB, but minor league baseball has a streaming service. Collegiate summer leagues have a streaming service, and a team like the Savannah Bananas, they can sell the streaming to their game, and if you can't go to a game, nobody says that you can't still stream it and watch it at home on your computer or your Surface Pro or whatever on your phone, and order yourself a hat, and still the teams are able to find a way to generate that revenue even if you don't walk in the ballpark. And so there's a lot of potential for whatever is important to the team, whatever they want to prioritize. They can put it on the map, man, and baseball fans will come.
Awesome. I think it's going to be great. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys. This is all. I just started down this path, and we got into everything else. But these are mostly all currently active teams. Do you guys have any plans to do anything historical? Because
Yeah.
one of the questions I get asked, why I'm asking that is I get asked this a lot, is what historical franchises have kind of come through certain teams, who they've been affiliated with, what their logo or their nickname was in the past, who they were affiliated with, what the league was. There's not a lot out there. I mean, there's a little bit, but you got to look in a half a dozen different places to do it. Any thoughts about historical stuff or not?
Yeah, I mean, as far as we've got towards that end, it's the museums and whatnot. But I mean, that's a great idea. It would be awesome to have a slider, like if you could,
Yeah,
slide back to 1980 and
you
see what
got
the
it.
map looked like in 1980.
How fun would that be?
That'd be so cool.
It would be, right?
Right.
Anyway, I
Well,
get
you
it.
got time for that.
Yeah, I imagine this was an incredible amount of work. That's something else, but hey, maybe someday soon you'll be able to quit your day job, and this will be your day job, and
Exactly.
you can do that stuff.
Exactly.
But I get asked those questions a lot, and when I go trying to dig or help people find those answers, you got to look in a lot of places. There's not a lot of really good history on the minor leagues. You got to look too many places to find it. You don't even know if it's accurate, what's happened with it. But anyway, what you got going on here, I love it. I think this is just brilliant. I mean, what you guys are doing, and I hope you keep on keeping on. What plans you got going for this? Just keep expanding it the way you've been doing it, or what are you going to be doing?
Well, it is a lot of legwork as teams are starting to get into as they're wrapping up collegiate summer. Teams are wrapping up their season, and then from there will be some of the minor league and then the independent leagues, and they go into off season. Baseball Mapper doesn't stop getting hits, and we do get we still find a way to generate hits, whether it's social media posts, posting videos. Things on the Our Baseball Reddit,
I would
anything that we can come across to just kind of continue to talk baseball with baseball fans.
Yep.
There are ways to continue to keep eyes on it. So that's one thing. I mean, I will be continuing to reach out to teams and to GMs and to owners and to talk about the benefits of our site. We've also spent time talking about an app.
Yeah. Yeah,
that would be cool.
A lot of our users want to be able to have an app on their phone, go to one of these ballparks that they find on the map, and check in and be able to view their own map of where they've been.
Ooh.
Right?
Keep their statistics and stuff like that.
That would
Baseball
be
fans
fun.
will love our statistics.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a great idea. Yeah. A customizable app. Yeah. That's a great idea. And with the off season coming up, I mean, baseball doesn't stop in the wintertime. That's actually the time when a lot of teams, you're trying to prepare for the next year. Once the season's over, you're already looking towards next year. And if you guys have had any plans to maybe go to like I know Major League Baseball has their winter meetings. Minor League Baseball does as well. They have a merchandising, show as well that you can. I mean, I think that it might be worth you guys going to check it out. Because I mean, if I'm a minor league guy,
that might have to be a company trip, right?
Absolutely. If I'm a minor league, and I worked, like I said, I worked for 6 or 7 years in minor league baseball way back. It was like late '80s, early into the early '90s. But you are always looking for ways to get your brand out there, And this is, like I said, I think it's great. I mean, you're putting you're giving them control over what they want to actually show. But it's putting them into a place where lots of people are going to be putting eyes on it. Not just fans of them. And that's really... Because look at Ed, what he's doing with his dad hats. He doesn't even live in any of these places, but he's buying hats. Right. He's buying merchandise. He's buying whatever. That's what you want. You want people who are going to be, poking around, looking at your stuff, whether they're a fan of your team at the time or not. So, yeah, anyway, I wish you guys... all the best with this, man, because I think it's really a worthwhile. The website is fantastic. I love the. Like I said, I go on there and I just zoom in and out on that little map, and wherever I stop, then I'll click on there and I'll say, okay, what's this team? What's awesome. That team? No, I think it's great. And like I said, maybe down the road if you add some history, I think it would be a lot of fun because you could. There's so many. I've seen it just in the last couple of months of doing this. There are so many things out there that people find fun that maybe you or I don't, but they do, and vice versa. And you just don't know what people are going to be interested in. But if you put it all in, one resource in front of them and let them decide what they think is fun, I think that's great. I like it. So
that's a good idea.
So, what else you guys got in your mind? Anything else before we wrap it up? I don't want to cut into your video time here. This is your.
Well, we've already started drinking and we're having a good time. Well, this is recording time. This is where all of the magic happens for Facebook and YouTube videos.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I
appreciate you having us on. This was really awesome.
This was great. I'm glad you guys came on here. Like I said, I post these videos in 3, 4, 5 other different forums and places, and I'm definitely going to make sure I keep getting the word out from all these people that come on here and what all of you are doing, because I think it's fantastic. Like I said, this resource that you guys have, I think anybody would be interested in doing it. Are you going to just stick to minor league? I mean, do you stick any pins for major league teams in there or no?
Oh, they're there.
Yeah,
they're there.
There. We've got NCAA Division One as well. On the right side, there's filters. We have them off by default because there's so many.
Yeah.
It's sort of it gets really cluttered. But
Yeah,
Maybe-
that's not the full 900 view.
you know, and you know what? In the Chicago area, we have a
Oh,
professional
wow.
softball team. as
Holy
well,
smokes.
right?
Dude.
Right, so, I thought of maybe
Think
even
about-
adding the women's softball.
Can you wait? Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Right? There are. I mean, I know guys who are coaches and scouts and everything else, right? That are driving around. I imagine they have their resources, right? But how fun is it to? I mean, you got maybe you could have several maps. One that's a college map and a high school map and a minor league map and a major league map. Because, like you said, there's going to be thousands if you started including everybody. But man, a college one would be awesome. A college one would be awesome too, and a high school too. But I don't want to put too much on your plate.
Yeah,
You only got so much time
We're
in the
with
day.
you. We're with you. We'll watch
I think it's
baseball
great.
wherever it is. Huh?
Yeah.
The local,
Oh my God.
local community college. I've been to
Absolutely.
games there.
Yeah, I told you I live in Spring, and I'd be driving back and forth from work, and I'd be driving by, and this is when I first moved here. I was like, what are all these cars doing over here? There's a Spring High School is just off the highway. You can see the stadium right from Interstate 45, and I'm driving, and I was like, okay, I got to see what's going on here, because there's like, most of the time you drive by, there's maybe 20, 30 cars. This time there was like 300 cars there. Well, it was Josh Beckett was pitching. And so, that's where he graduated from high school. So I anytime I wanted to know when Josh Beckett was pitching coming home, all I had to do was count the cars in the parking lot, and you knew. But I would stop and I would check it out, because you got to, you that's what you want to see, things like that. It was really fun to see him on the mound when he was 18 years old. It was pretty darn cool. So, you got a lot of possibilities.
Spring, Texas. Where is that located? What is that by the Metroplex?
It's north of Houston, about maybe 20 miles.
Oh, so you're close to Houston. Okay.
Yeah, it's you get up north of Houston, and on Interstate 45. You keep on going, in 3 hours you're in Dallas. So it's sadly enough, it would take me 2.5 hours to 2 hours to drive from where I am to Galveston, which is only like 80 miles away, as it would to drive to Dallas, which is like 250 miles away, just because you got to go through all the Houston traffic. So, boy, I tell you what, this
here in Chicago as well.
Yeah, I bet. I tell you what, this is brilliant. This is really good stuff. I mean, I think it's great, and I think the possibilities that you guys got for this is endless. I mean, there's sky's the limit, man. Keep on going. Get all 900 and keep on going.
We're working on it. Hopefully they'll return the calls and answer the emails. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I know some people. I'm gonna send them your stuff, and maybe they'll tell them get in touch with you, because I think this is for a minor league team. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this. Put yourself on the map. That's the slogan.
Literally. It's
Get
almost as if
on
you're working.
the-
We'll get you a baseball map or shirt. We'll get you some cards.
Put yourself on the map. That's what I'm going to tell these guys.
They're already making slogans. It's perfect.
All right, guys. This was a lot of fun, and we'll do this again. Anytime you guys want to come on, anytime you guys have something that you're working on, you want to put out there, I'm going to keep on doing these, and I've got people lined up, for the next foreseeable, at least 2-3 a week for the next couple of months, and I'm going to keep on going and keep on doing as many different things as I can. It's been a lot of fun, and talking to a lot of really interesting and really cool people. So this was great.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us, and we'll be checking in with you in the future, man. For sure.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.